The letter from the genetics lab arrived on a Tuesday, sandwiched between a cable bill and a gardening catalogue. It was for a heritage and health kit my daughter, Chloe, had gifted the whole family for Christmas, a playful way to explore our roots. It'll be fun. Mom, she'd said, we all spat in our tubes, mailed them off, and forgot. Now, holding the envelope, I felt a strange, cold premonition. My husband, Robert, was at work. The house was quiet. I opened it. The report was a labyrinth of percentages and haplogroups. I scrolled past ancient migration patterns to the modern DNA relatives section. It showed my 3 children listed as expected: Chloe, 24, Ben, 21, Lily, 19. Then the notations. The words were small, technical, and detonated my life with silent, nuclear force. Chloe, paternal match, 99.7% individual. Robert Davies, Ben, paternal match, 0. 0% no match found in database. Lily, paternal match, 0.0% no match found in database. I read it again and again. The numbers didn't change. Ben and Lily's results declared with scientific finality that Robert was not their biological father. The air in our sunlit kitchen turned to glass. I couldn't breathe. 25 years of marriage, of shared history, of a family portrait that hung above our fireplace. Shattered in an instant, my mind became a frantic detective. Ben, conceived during Robert's 6-month overseas contract. I'd been lonely, adrift, and there had been Mark, a kind colleague who'd listened. One night, a terrible, grieving mistake I'd buried so deep I'd almost convinced myself it was a dream. And Lily, conceived after a vicious fight with Robert when I'd felt utterly abandoned, a reckless, angry weekend with a stranger whose face I could barely recall. I had carried these secrets, these isolated islands of shame, believing they were contained, that they affected no one but me. I was wrong. They were tectonic plates. And the DNA test was the earthquake. Robert was not the father of 2 of our 3 children. All my children had different biological fathers. The weight of the deception, now quantified in a percentage, crushed me. But beneath the terror, a fiercer, more primal instinct surged: protection. My children could not find out like this. Not from a website. Robert could not find out like this. Not from a piece of paper. I had to contain the blast. I logged into the DNA portal with trembling hands. I deleted my own results, removing the link that would flag the discrepancies to anyone else in the family. I then closed every relative matching setting for myself and each child, erecting a digital wall around the truth. It was a delay, not a solution. Chloe, who initiated this, might wonder why her matches were sparse. I would tell her the database was glitchy, that European ancestry often confused the algorithms. But the real battle was ahead. Robert. How do you tell the man who raised 3 children, who coached Little League, who paid for college, that his paternity was a fiction in 2/3 of his life's work? You don't. Not unless you want to destroy everything. The secret was now a live grenade, and I was the only one who could prevent the pin from pulling itself. I scheduled a romantic weekend, something we hadn't done in years. I told him I'd had a scare, a routine mammogram callback that turned out to be nothing. But it had made me realize how much I kept locked inside, over wine, under the stars. I began my own confession, not the whole truth, that would be a cruelty, but a version meant to inoculate. I spoke of my profound loneliness during his long absences, of a period of darkness and poor choices after his mother died, of feeling like a failed wife. I wept real tears, seeded with genuine shame. I told him I had been emotionally unfaithful at times, lost in my own resentment. I begged for his forgiveness for the distance I had created. He held me, confused but compassionate. We were both young. We've built a life since then, he said, comforting me. The irony was a knife twist. I had to ensure that if the truth ever surfaced, this would be the framework, a troubled time in a long marriage, not a sustained, secret betrayal of his fatherhood. I was pre-writing the narrative to soften the blow, to give him a reason to stay before he ever learned the real reason to leave. Next, the children. I began, subtly, to reinforce their individual, unique bonds with Robert. You have your father's analytical mind. Ben, Lily, your dad's stubbornness is all over you. I was grafting their identities onto him through willpower and suggestion. Fighting against the invisible code in their cells, the guilt is a constant, suffocating companion. I look at my family and see a beautiful, fraudulent masterpiece I painted over a cracked canvas. Every laugh feels borrowed. Every dad they utter is both a blessing and a condemnation. I am a ghost in my own home, haunted by the truth that binds me. The DNA test revealed a biological fact, but it also revealed the architecture of my life, built on secrets, held together by love, and now in danger of collapsing under the weight of a truth I alone can carry. My punishment is not a confrontation, it is the daily, exquisite torture of their trust, and the terrible knowledge that to preserve their world, I must forever lie to the people I love most. The test gave me answers. It also gave me a life sentence.